Hi guys and welcome to my review of One Piece chapter 859. Chapter was really good. There are a lot of conclusions we can draw from this. Okay, so Capone explains the plan, which means, as I said, the plan will go wrong at some time. Of course, it doesn't mean Luffy will die, it doesn't mean Capone will die, probably. It doesn't necessarily mean that Big Mom will lose either, but it does mean that the plan that got presented to us in this chapter will definitely not go down as was told in this chapter. It's too easy and there would be no suspense if that happened. However, with the knowledge that we gained from this chapter and the knowledge that we've gotten from previous chapters, we know the elements that are gonna be in the wedding. We just don't know how it'll all go down, because no panel is drawn just for the heck of it. Oda has a plan with everything, and every piece of information we get is important. So, just going back from the beginning, we all know that Tamate Bako is gonna come into play at some point. Since Capone obviously hasn't mentioned this in his plan, it means that this is gonna be one of the unexpected things that will happen. We also have the Germa 66. They are the victims in this whole thing, but they're not gonna stand still when they find out, oh yeah, Big Mom is actually trying to kill you all. So they're gonna do something. I have a feeling that they won't be smart enough from the beginning to just say, okay, let's just escape. So they'll probably cause some trouble, but I'll get into them a little later because I actually have like an idea of where their storyline may be going in the future. Another thing to point out is that, I said this in my live reaction as well, the soldiers of the Germa 66 must play a role as well, because they won't be actually attending the wedding. They'll just be at the Germa Kingdom, and the Germa Kingdom will be, you know, it'll be under attack. So what I do believe will happen here is that the people who know of the plan, of the Big Mom crew obviously, will go to attack the Germa Kingdom with a big army, maybe the enraged army, who the fuck knows. And the Germa Kingdom will obviously be there to defend it. So, we know they're Den Mushi ships. They can like detach those from each other and just like get the fuck out of there. Without specific orders, that might be the best course of action for them, because they might be smart enough to think, okay, we don't have orders to attack Big Mom's crew, so this could all just be a weird mistake, so we should just get the fuck out of here and wait for orders. Which will then be important later, because there are probably mirrors on the Germa 66, right? So if they just like stay on the coast, defend their own stuff, that's probably what's gonna happen there. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna play a role, and the reason that we will probably, because Big Mom, we are in Big Mom's territory, so there are so many people. And while not everyone knows of the plan, those, if everyone who knew were in, like, the wedding ceremony thing, it would be kind of game over for Luffy, I believe. So we take some of them out by putting them over to the Germa Kingdom. Now, what else do we know? We know that Capone has a weapon. 3 weapons to be exact, of the same kind that Caesar's made, which contains this really intense poison that will kill Big Mom. But they need to weaken her for this to work, because her skin is like super tough. And to weaken her skin, they need to make her emotionally vulnerable by tearing apart this picture of Mother Caramel, who, I'm gonna get into that later, which will cause Big Mom to have an emotional breakdown. It will weaken her physical state for some reason, and she might start her Conqueror's Haki, and she'll wail and it'll be painful and stuff like that. So that's another thing that'll probably happen. Another condition of Big Mom's that we will probably see, maybe as a result of this, or something before this, or at some point, is her hunger, craving things that we saw when we met her for the first time. That is definitely gonna come back into place, and I still do believe that Sanji will be the one to make the food that will calm her down before she inevitably eats someone. We also know that Pudding is like rather skeptical of this whole thing and seems to be more or less dissatisfied with the whole situation, because it's causing her a lot of trouble, because she has to protect her image of being a good girl, but if she straight up kills her future husband at the altar, that'll kind of ruin that image. Then we also have Brûlé, who has consistently throughout like 3 or 4 chapters been like, okay, I need to tell Big Mom that this is going on because I just heard everything, but I'm tied up. So Brûlé is most likely gonna try to do something, although I don't believe she will succeed. So we have all these small pieces of things, and with the foreshadowing we know that Tamata Bako is definitely gonna be a thing. We know that the food craving thing is definitely gonna be a thing. And we don't have a weapon if it's not gonna get used. So that's definitely gonna happen as well. And I don't think we would have had that entire whole explanation of the mother caramel thing if Big Mom isn't gonna do something. However, I kind of predict that her reaction to it being torn apart rather than just being knocked over what the hell happened the first time, she might have a different reaction which will then screw up the plan slightly. As I said in my live reaction, I believe that the person who will cause a the first like diversion in the plan, because the plan goes upon the signal, which is the gunshot of Pudding's gun, Luffy will come in to distract Big Mom so that in the 5 seconds between the photo being torn in half and Big Mom reacting, no one fucking dies. And then the outrage happens and they have like 5 seconds to get the fuck out of there. So because everything won't go as fast-paced as that, at some point it has to go wrong, and it'll probably go wrong when Pudding doesn't fire the gun. I think. She could of course still fire the gun, but I believe that it's gonna be at the very, very beginning of the plan that something will go wrong. However, we'll still see everything happening, but probably not in the order that Capone wanted it to happen. He probably won't have as much control over the situation as he wanted to happen, and Big Mom probably won't die as he wants to happen. However, I still do believe that everyone will get out of this situation safely. More or less. Now this brings me kind of to the Germa 66. I can't say for certain, like with extreme detail, what I believe is gonna happen to them, but I believe, and I actually said this right when we were first introduced to them, we're gonna see them in another arc. It may or may not be Wano. I kind of don't think it will, although that might also be an arc where we have a lot of different players. I just don't see what their role would be, but I do believe that Germa will come back at some point. And the reason that I believe this is simply because at the rate that this is going now, the Vinsmokes won't get a beating from Sanji and or Luffy. And we have been set up for Sanji and Neji to go at the very least. And Luffy seems like the person who would punch Judge in the face. Because Judge really deserves that. Or at least Sanji should do something. Like, Sanji deserves to deal at least one really good kick to someone in his family. And I don't believe we'll see the Vinsmokes successfully fight the Big Mom family. Because I feel like there'd just be too much turmoil at that point. I don't exactly know what the Vinsmokes are gonna do in the wedding scenario, because they're probably gonna be conflicted, but they'll fight for their lives, obviously. But I do still believe that Sanji will duke it out with some of his family members. And that can't be in this arc. It might be between this arc and Wano, where something happens, and I still believe that Reiju will take over the Germa Kingdom. If the Germa Kingdom exists after this, because I also have the idea that it might just disband if they tell the soldiers, oh yeah, you're artificially made humans, and then, like, give them their freedom, the freedom they deserve to do whatever they want. But they might just rally on the Reiju if she's the one to be like, yeah, okay, so you're artificially made, but you're free to go now that I'm queen, so we just disband the kingdom, and then they'll be like, no, we want to follow you because you're kind and nice, I don't know. That'd be kind of like a fairy tale ending, but if we want the image of Reiju being redeemed for the shit she's done, even though she's, like, obviously she's not that bad and you can't really blame a child for just protecting herself, but you know what I mean, right? So, path of redemption. Since you all like to call this a redemption arc, I don't fucking know. But yeah, I believe that we'll see the Vinsmokes again. And I think that Reiju at the very least will cut herself off from her family, whether by taking over the Germa herself or just like going off on her own or just disbanding the kingdom entirely. Something will happen there. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that the components in this chapter are important, but the structure is what's gonna fail. if that makes any sense, because someone commented and said, okay, obviously the plan isn't gonna fail because blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah, okay, I probably misspoke. It's not that the plan will fail, like they will still succeed mostly. I still don't think Big Mom will die. It's One Piece. I do believe actually that people will die more frequently in One Piece in the New World than before that, because I just think that it was important that Ace and Whitebeard died first, which is also why I think that Monet is dead. But not Virgo though. But another topic. I got completely off track there. But yeah, the components that we have discussed, the components that we've been building up to, will still happen, but it will not happen in the order and the structure that we were presented it with, because if it does, that's kind of boring since we then know what will happen. We also have the issue of Peckhams being kind of conflicted. We have the Sun Pirates and Jinbei don't really have a role. So I don't even know what the fuck they're gonna do, whether they're just gonna hide or they're gonna be like part of the escape plan. What the heck is up with them? We also had that one kind of suspicious panel of Carrot right after Capone has the sentence about if they don't have anything to distract or do anything to not make themselves killed in the 5 seconds between Big Mom, or the picture being torn apart, and Big Mom's reaction, then their chances of succeeding is like 0, because they'll just be eliminated by the commanders. And then you have the face of Carrot, which probably means that some commanders are gonna come for them. Another point I forgot to mention, we haven't seen the Sweet Commander Katakuri, or Potato Starch, whatever the official name for that character is. So they're definitely gonna play a part of this entire thing as well. I am super secretly hoping that Katakuri is an Okama, like, holy crap, that would be amazing. But yeah. But yeah, Carrot is definitely gonna play a role there, because unlike Pedro, who in this arc has had like inside information, he's had connections to Big Mom pirates, especially Tamago. He's been here before, he's lost friends here before, like he had intricate history on this island with these people. Carrot is kind of new. Like, she is very new. She came for the adventure and now she's wrapped up in this murder plan, which she's really too innocent and pure for. But bless her soul. But yeah, she's definitely gonna do something of major importance, and I do believe that I have been underestimating the role that she will have in this arc. But I'm super excited for that. And in general, like, in One Piece style, we need people to have fights. Nami has been hyped up ever since the end of the So arc to have a fight, like a proper fight. She always has a proper one-on-one fight after she gets a new Klimatak. Miss Doublefinger after she got her first Klimatak, and when Usopp perfected the second one, I guess, he had the fight against Khalifa. And now when he's upgraded again, she must have another fight. So, yeah. I'm expecting, obviously, the girls to have fights. Brook has also been hyped in this arc, he has gotta have a fight. Sanji, this is his arc, he needs a fight, but I've already talked about that might just be at the end of the arc against a family member, because he really needs to kick Niji at the very least. Luffy, main character, he needs a fight as well. My only problem is that I just don't believe that they'll take out Big Mom. They can weaken her, sure, but they can't beat her. That's why they have this really specific plan to take her out. It's because she's literally impossible to defeat. I mean, just think about it, like, Capone's been with her for a year, and only at one time has she been close to vulnerable. Like, she had a scratch on her knees and she bled a little bit. That's it. That's it. That's crazy. She's crazy, obviously. We also just have a lot of Big Mom family members we haven't met, but that's really... No, I talked about that in my theory video, which I still think might be legit, because if any of Big Mom's children catch on to the fact that someone's trying to kill Big Mom, we already know that Chiffon is like, yeah, I don't think of that monster as my mother anymore. There might be other people out there. Of course, we don't know how many people were abused by Big Mom the way that Chiffon was. And Chiffon is probably the worst case scenario because of Lola, and there are no other examples than Lola because of the giant thing. But Big Mom is a cruel person, and she has admitted several times, yeah, there are some of my children I would probably kill. She was probably very specifically talking about Lola and Chiffon, but she has said she hated more other children of hers, like the little girl, Anana, I think her name was, or something like that. So yeah, I do believe that we will probably, if we have like family members there who are like, yeah, okay, I could get behind killing Big Mom, they could probably take her down. If Big Mom goes down in this arc, it will be a team effort. It definitely won't be a Luffy punches her in the face and that's it. Cause yeah, as I've said like every single review so far, I believe. I really think I've said this every single time. Kaido will be the first Yonko Luffy takes out. That's just how I see it. For me, it can't go any other way. It has to be that. It's the only thing, because it's so ironic for Kaido to be the strongest creature alive and then for him to be the first Yonko that Luffy takes out. Like, because he seems so much like a final boss kind of deal, he has to be the first. He just has to. It's the only way, it's the only thing that makes sense for me. So yeah. But I think that's mostly what I have to say about this. There are the issues with the other guests that are coming, especially because people said, like by the end of the chapter, people were like, oh my god, the guest this time seems to be like really high class guests, which means that these people are probably not people who are usually invited to Big Mom's tea parties, just like the really, really big ones. Or something. So they're probably gonna come into play as well, which again, I was so against having new people enter this arc, but I don't know. What do I do if Crocodile shows up? Like, I'm not ready for Crocodile. I want him to show up so badly, but I'm just like, what would I do? Don't think it will happen though, but like, I would be so ecstatic. Like, this arc would just shoot up the ranks for me so much because Crocodile is like the best. But now I am going to stop because I'm going very, very, very far into, I'm just speculating theory, which, I mean, these videos are like, oh, I'm gonna speculate what's gonna happen next, but this is like, I have nothing to go off on here, so, yeah. Right, you can leave a thumbs up on the video if you like anything that I had to say. Leave in the comments below what you thought of the things that I brought up, or if you have like any other outrageous idea, just like ideas based on a lot of things. Ideas. I will be happy to read them. And you can subscribe if you want to see more. Unfortunately, there will be no more videos today because I am so pressed for time. Where I live it's really late and I have presentation for tomorrow that I haven't made yet because I had to make these videos first. You can see I prioritize this over school, which is a bad thing, never do that. Always prioritize school first. But yeah, until next time guys, bye!